Hello and welcome back to another episode of DC Alliance. Of course, this is our Superman and Lois reviews, our second show of the week that we have been doing ever since this season aired. Of course, I'm your host Clay, and I am here with Travis this evening. Hines, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Clay. I'm just trying to stay in my lane. Uh,
I'm sorry, guys. I've been this year. One big thing for me. I am a big proponent in growth, and when it comes to like how our podcast is doing, our numbers, and all of that stuff, I'm all into it. And so I was trying to look up stuff for like Star Wars Alliance, but I was like, oh, well, I'm a DC host. Let me go check our reviews, and I had a individual call me out for when I called everybody who got Omicron idiots. And Hines himself has kind of put his opinion on that, and I did put my foot in my mouth a little bit. I understand that not
there are
everybody is.
some. There are some. You are
There
right.
are
There are
there
some.
is a large majority that
Well,
is
I'll say some. I'll say some.
that are idiots for getting it. I have dodged COVID yet again, literally today, this week. It is insane the way just life is in Texas right now, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I literally, because of the scheduling and how small our warehouse is, and how I still need to be employed and work, I literally have to go into work immediately after this podcast. So that just sucks. But during the day, I get to work from home, so they get to pay me to watch TV, possibly play a video game or two. But who knows? Thankfully, they don't listen to this podcast. So let's go ahead and jump right into things. That being the GUA network plugs and paperwork, of course. Geek Ultimate Alliance is the network. DC Alliance is a part of that, along with seven other shows, 7 days a week. So a total of 8 shows. We have 4 shows that are bi-weekly, 4 shows that are not. Our bi-weekly shows are Slice of Film with Katie, World's Finest True Believers with Chris, Ranger Alliance with me, Jake, and Joe, and of course, a walk through the multiverse with Joe. Our weekly shows are, of course, DC Alliance, Star Wars Alliance, Superhero Discussions, and Marvel Alliance. DC, of course, being live on Monday and Wednesday nights, both at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Star Wars Alliance on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Marvel being live Thursday nights at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Star Wars, DC, and Marvel all having their own solo feeds on any podcatcher of choice. Go subscribe to them. We are also a ad supported network as well as a listener supported network. So we do have ads in this episode. If you don't want to listen to those ads, you can just subscribe to our Patreon. $1, we'll just say thank you, but $5 is what gives you that exclusive content and those shows without ads. So I think that's the fastest I've done the plugs. Holy crap. That's three
Yeah,
minutes in. Holy
I'm
shit.
not gonna lie. I'm pretty impressed. I
Yeah.
did a 6 minute or 5 minute one today when I did a solo superhero discussions. I was patting myself on the back. So I'm not gonna. You blew through that in 3 minutes.
I
That was pretty good.
I blew through that. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, regarding solo feeds, just had this conversation because I was live today, Wednesday, at Star Wars Alliance. Go check out the solo feed, go review them. Give a screenshot to either the Star Wars Alliance Twitter account, Katie, or myself to be entered to win a Star Wars Old Republic omnibus that is out of print. And yeah, uh, there is a little bit of DC news, but that is going to be on our new show on Monday. This is, of course, our Superman and Lois review, season 2, episode 3. I am like I'm not a big proponent of the like episode 203, and I'm just like that's 203. This show has not had 203 episodes. It just confuses
Two
my.
times an N03.
Yes, but I mean, but the way you speak it, it's episode 203
Yeah,
is the way people
that is true.
usually.
That is true.
It doesn't make sense in my mind. My brain kind of breaks whenever I hear it. So we had a very lengthy discussion about Doomsday and how the showrunners are like, hey, this character is going to be in this show. We are going to show him in episode 3. Here we are, episode 3, and let's just rip this band-aid right
No,
now.
I think we should probably save that
Are
discussion for
you
the. It's the
are you
very.
serious?
It's the
It's
very
not.
end of the movie. It's the very end of the episode.
It
It very
is.
is. It's the
It.
very end. You're trying to go eat your dessert first, and then start trying to pick at your meal, and then by the time you get to your appetizers, they're nothing.
I will be completely honest with you, though, Travis. What meal was there other
There's a
than?
lot of character development there. Some of it was some of it I'll agree was predictable, like the Lana storyline about the mayor. I could have closed my eyes and you could have told me 2 episodes ago Lana's going to run for mayor, and I'm going to be like, let me think about this. She's going to try first, and let me guess, they don't accept her. They give her some crap about stuff that happened in season 1, and then let me guess, her kids are going to help her find her true self and show people a smile about who she's actually going to be. That's what I would have normally guessed, and that's kind of the way they went. But I just enjoyed the character, so I kind of enjoyed the moments with her and her mom, and kind of the the jerk husband is going so far the opposite way of being a jerk. He's like, I'm shocked. I haven't seen somebody do a 180 like this in personality in quite some time.
You are right. I will be completely honest. I really don't care about the Lana story yet. And I think it's because it's so predictable.
Yeah.
I want to see actual confrontation and development with that first for
Same
me
here.
to be like on board with. Okay, this is a good story plot.
They're moving
Um,
that line really slow, Clay. I will say you are right. They moved along a lot of the stuff they've been moving still really slow. Like we're
mhm.
going to talk about the storyline, but honestly, I'd say it's going to take us 10 minutes to talk about the storylines, not the big thing at the end.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't much that happened here. When you think about it, we went from Lana. Let's go to Jordan and Sarah, because that was barely anything. She had a little discussion with her mother. He had a little. He was feeling blue, and then ultimately Clark gave him a little gift to give to her, and a couple people told him like it's just a kiss. Both Jonathan and I can't remember John's daughter's name, Natalie. Both
Yeah.
Jonathan and Natalie just gave an encouragement, and then he went, and it was very predictable. And he said, "I love you," and they were together. They didn't do much with that.
It's very CW high
Yeah,
school Riverdale type stuff that I don't care about either.
I enjoy the
Um
Jonathan storyline a
now
lot.
well that is a little bit more interesting. That stuff reminds me a lot about Smallville.
Yeah,
And so I do enjoy that. But let's rewind back to Jordan
yeah,
in regards to Clark and Superman and
yes.
the confrontation that happened there.
That's probably some of our better stuff
Um
because what's going on with him.
I I get what they're doing, especially with the reveal at the end, but it still doesn't make sense to me. They need to write this in a way that has me saying, okay, I can make it work. Because otherwise, it's just very weird. And I will say this, seeing a 15-year-old kid tell his parent, oh, I love this person. I'm going to marry her. I'm going to share all of my secrets and spill all of your secrets and all of this stuff. It was really cringeworthy. And I almost said, Clark, just freaking heat vision lobotomize him right now just to
Oh
get
my
this
god.
conversation over with. Like,
I,
I'm
I,
sorry. It
it's
was really cringy.
But it was really how a teenager would act. They're cringe all the time. I've heard kids say this very thing of "I love her. We're going to get married." I'm like, "Oh, sure, yeah." My brother would say that to me, and he was with his girlfriend for like 10 years. The girl that he was with when he was Jordan's age, and he was telling me
Oh
like,
my
"Yeah, I'm going to
gosh.
marry her," and I just kept saying to myself, that's definitely not going to happen. This is the only girlfriend you've ever had, and if I were going to, I'm a gambling man. I wager on sports all the time. I'm in such an unsuccessful swing lately. I'll live bet something and it'll go the other way. I've taken a couple days off of gambling since football, but if I'm a betting man, I would have bet that didn't work out. And if I'm Clark, I'm thinking the same thing here. I'm like you said, I'm thinking you're a little shit, but I'm also understanding he definitely felt the exact same way about Lana. So that's why I can think it's a little hypocritical, and why
Which
he feels bad afterwards. It makes perfect sense.
which I still think it's very weird that they are going out with the storytelling route in this universe of Superman and Lois, of Superman as the universe is, of Clark not telling Lana his secret.
I like that.
Um,
I don't
I
need to.
mean,
We don't need a Flash situation or Arrow situation
no, no, no,
where 75 to 100 people know who you are.
no.
Like this
I
didn't.
don't need that either. I don't. I'm not saying that the entire world needs to know because I mean, I hate the fact that Superman's identity is out in comics right now. I think it's very stupid.
Yeah.
Um, but the very important thing of Lana or him at least having somebody in Smallville that knew his identity was that he wasn't alone. Is that, and I understand that it helps a little bit more with the alien side of him, and so that way when he did meet Lois, it was that much more special and all of that. I totally get it, but it's just a storytelling perspective that I enjoy. So
If
when
we
seeing
would
it
have,
now and knowing Lana is there, there's some times where I think that she knows the secret. I'm like, oh wait, no, she doesn't. Like
it
it's
could be a
it's very
little.
odd to
It
me.
could be a Cat Grant thing from Supergirl where she found out at some point and just never said anything because that could be a very distinct possibility as well.
Yeah, that is
But
true.
I think it doesn't matter as much if we're not seeing any episodes of them in the past.
Yeah.
Because that meant a lot in the Smallville time because like it was a thing it dragged on for a while, but he finally told him, and that's kind of why I think I understand a little bit what Jordan's going through because we went through that in Smallville where Clark wasn't even graduated high school and wanted to tell Lana a secret. Clark telling Lana a secret ultimately cost his father's life in that show.
Yeah.
So
What is that?
I
That was the
that was
99th
the 100th
episode.
episode, 100th episode, 512.
Was it the 100th?
Yeah,
I thought the
reckoning. If I'm a
well, I
hundred
know
percent.
I knew 100 is reckoning, but I
Yeah,
thought the funeral was the one after his
the
like
funeral's the
death.
one after that one where he goes and he finds the pocket watch, and someone
Yeah.
steals it. All that stuff. That
Yeah.
was I gotta say, watching that live. Like I watched that back when it was airing.
Yeah.
That was such a major letdown episode after going through all the highs of that last episode. It was like I wasn't prepared for that at all. I was like, "Go back to the fortress, bring him back." What the hell? Like I know it was in comics, but like, come on, this TV show, this guy's been around for 5 years now. What? So,
Such a good show.
but no,
Um
this here, I gotta say though, I do enjoy what they're doing with, like I was mentioning, Jordan. I do enjoy that he wants to tell, and that Clark even said like, ultimately gets to the point where he says like, if you feel this way in another year, come back to me and we'll have have different discussion. Maybe.
yeah.
So I love that he still throws it out there because he prefaced it by saying, "Do you know if she tells one person, or like
Like,
are
anybody could be compromised.
I love
Yeah.
that kind of stuff because we see it in Smallville. Remember, like Pete found out, and then there was an episode where Pete got tortured and then had to leave Smallville.
Yeah.
So like I love the repercussions for telling people a secret, and I would understand that Jordan wouldn't know because he didn't grow up with this. He only just got this like last year,
Mhm.
learning about all this. So it's I enjoy the whole family and characters. Like you said, Clark get mad not being able to control himself. And one thing I didn't expect to enjoy was the General Lane Lois stuff. Actually, did enjoy that. I don't know if it's because of the General Lane actor because he's very good.
He's a little less compressed in here. He is very much like the very first scene that we see him in. He's in a boat and he's just relaxing, fishing or whatever.
That would make sense after not having the responsibilities that he had in the previous season. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
But he still has just the overall responsibility because he was in that position in the first place. Because there's some stuff that goes down where he's like, okay, there's literally nothing else that I can do. I have to go to Anderson.
yeah,
Um, so I'm trying to think of other stuff. The John storyline. Him still trying to deal with this other guy on the football team with him juicing and whatnot. It leads to a fight, which I actually really enjoy Clark playing up the hit
yeah.
because like him just standing there for one, I am really surprised that John's arm didn't freaking break or anything. Um, but you can just headcanon the fact that possibly Clark at super speed like moved his head a little bit
Oh,
uh,
definitely,
and
definitely.
was able to like take the blow without hurting John.
Yeah, like he
and
just
then he
moved
like
his face in slow
he
mo, like made
yeah,
it look like he
and
was
then
moving. Yeah.
he freaking flies back and everything. Um, why? Like, I understand this is the CW stuff, but the way that John's relationship, or even just the kids' relationship with Clark so far in all of season one and so far in season two, I would have 100%, I would have put money down on the very first line we saw in the locker room be John saying, "Dad, he is using XK."
But he didn't because
But
he
he
does.
didn't.
He's not 100% certain. But we that's what we think anyway. But ultimately, when we at the end of the episode, we find out why he didn't tell his dad, and the whole reason is he wants to use it himself to get good. And you got to think too. Him and his mother have had numerous conversations in the last season of
Mhm.
what it's like to be non-superpowered with superpowered
To
people and
be
be
quote unquote normal. Yeah.
or overshadowed by them. So this is I gotta say, like, bravo! Like, this is like makes perfect sense the way why he would do this. It sucks like when you hear it like, oh, Superman's kid, but this is exactly right up his alley of what he would do because
Mhm.
his brother's there with powers, and he has. And I wonder if this may be the way that it will kickstart his Kryptonian powers.
Well, when we hear the showrunner say, "Hey, Doomsday is here," and then I'm sure they're already gearing up for John to have superpowers too.
We're
Um,
pretty close to that. I don't think there isn't much else minus We're getting the Lois and Lucy stuff more next episode and
but we
future.
didn't get Lucy here.
No, we got the cult leader showing up in Lucy's place, and it's either
She
one of
is
two
creepy,
things:
man. She is
either
super
Lucy is
creepy.
gone back with the cult, or the cult has kidnapped Lucy.
Yeah, yeah,
And we will. I assume Lucy's gone back because she spoke with her father. He said
yeah.
that it's a very great scene between him and Lois too, where he takes responsibility for his mistakes. I did enjoy that quite a bit. So yeah, you're right though. That girl is super creepy. I would not look at her and be like, "Yeah, that's the Messiah I want to follow." Uh,
But to be completely honest, there is not really much
that's
more to
about
this
it.
episode. So let's go ahead and take our first ad break here, and we will be right back. Remember, guys, we do not choose these ads. We don't choose how many times they repeat themselves if they do, or the volume. So we will be right back. And we are back. So there's still something going on in the mines. And they are very, because this episode opens up with another dizzy spell, another vision spell or whatnot. And so John Henry is like, hey, let me go look into this. And Lois is like, no, you promised Natalie that you wouldn't, that you would, that you guys would live a normal life and, you wouldn't put yourself in danger, blah, 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 blah. He's like, yeah, but I'm kind of obligated to do this just because you guys are giving us a solid. I'm going to do you a solid type of thing. Um, and so he is getting credentials from General Lane. They're going to make everything work out, and he's going to go see what's going on in the mines. We get to see him going underneath all the mines and seeing like the what was possibly Doomsday, because again,
Blood.
we don't know what that is, um, quote unquote. And then we see
Well, he gets
the
knocked out. He gets knocked out by that.
I still don't remember her name.
I don't think we've been given her name. Maybe Lois might have known it when she was talking to her in the first episode, but
Okay.
it's not something that stuck out to me. But she has been underhanded, and she's the one that said that they found something last time that's more stronger than ever. So uh, she knocks John out, and then ultimately that thing breaks loose, and Clark has to go stop it. And he gets his ass handed to him, Clay. What
He
do you think what
gets
do you think it first showed up? Because we not gonna lie, listeners, that is if not the same color, but that is the suit
that
of
is
Doomsday.
it is close to the
Close.
containment suit.
Yeah.
The collar was a little distracting. It was a little bit bigger than I thought it would be. Um, it looked a little silly, I will admit. Um, but I know you can't have like a skin tight freaking headpiece, you have to have something that is breathable. These are legit actors
And
that
also,
are in these suits.
they're trying to hide what's under it too, so you don't want it form
Exactly.
fitting.
Exactly. But this is when John Henry is able to even get his steel suit, not dubbed the steel suit, but
Pretty cool way to get it fly to him and
it was
jump.
very Avengers. When Tony jumps off the Stark Tower and has the Mark 37, or is it the Mark 37? I think it's a different mark actually. I can't remember which one. But it like forms to his wrists first and then goes onto his body. This actually, it's so cool because he jumped, and even before it even attached to him, it was already mimicking him, and he was able to get it all on. Now, I thought it would be a little bit more of a dramatic jump and fly type of thing, but he literally just jumped like 2 feet in the air and then landed. And I was like, oh, that's kind of disappointing. But he started to shoot him with
Solar flares.
red solar flare energy flares. And it was doing absolutely nothing to this creature until it was point blank to his face. And that is when the helmet bursts so you can see the inside. And this is when I said, that's not Doomsday.
Ding
Um,
ding.
Now, you see a lot more fighting, but it's hard to see the inside. But as a viewer, I was trying to purposely look only. I didn't care about the fighting at that point. I was like, I need to see
Oh,
what this
I
Doomsday looks
immediately
like.
thought it was Hicklin the moment the plate came off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of the eye and just the way it was positioned. I
I
was
I
like,
didn't I didn't
oh, that's what you're doing. And
I
I may
didn't
have seen
notice it
tweets
until it
before.
stopped.
I may have seen tweets before I started watching the episode.
Oh, see,
Unfortunately,
no,
yeah.
I didn't see anything.
Lucky you, lucky you. I've
But
seen.
when
Actually, let me rephrase that. I saw tweets from people who complain about people tweeting about spoilers for movies. Who tweeted spoilers for this episode? Literally last night, as it was going on, and this morning. I don't have a problem with people tweeting it out. I have a problem with people complaining about people tweeting spoilers when you tweet spoilers yourself. But yeah, that's probably why I kind of knew the moment I saw his face. But
so this is where I was trying to get at the beginning of our episode, and
yeah,
you made me wait.
I think I was right there.
Heinz, I this like when it comes to CW, we have been burned
Yeah, I
a
just said
lot.
not by this show yet.
Not by this show, but because we have been burned by this network, I am always one scene away from dropping everything. Like, I'm sorry, I love DC. You guys know I love DC, but we have seen a lot of shit content lately. A lot. And when the showrunner is like, hey, did you know that we're going to have Doomsday? And you see Doomsday, and then you see something that could be resembled of a Bizarro, and I don't want to see him come back tomorrow and be like, I gotcha. I'm like, no, you're just an idiot. You thought that was Doomsday.
No, he's been producer of enough. No, if he did it, he tried to get you. And this
No.
is what's so funny about your whole stance here is if people rewind it back and listen to last week's episode, they will hear Clay say awful lot of, my God, I hope that's not Doomsday. My God, they better not do Doomsday. If they do Doomsday, I'm out of this. And now, in one full episode, you're like,
You
oh
clearly
my God, I can't
you
believe
clearly
if
do
they're-
you clearly do an homage to Doomsday, and it's Bizarro. No,
we don't. I don't think
you're
he's Bizarro.
so he is speaking in some weird tongue that I bet you anything we will find out is like backwards Kryptonian. So speaking backwards is something that Bizarro does. He has like a lighter complexion of skin tone and cracks in his
He
face.
seems more infected than anything else. He seemed like
And
a zombified version.
well, it looks like he has like scribbles on his face also. And then his S is backwards, and the title screen of the show at the very end of the episode said Superman and Lois backwards. This is all pointing to Bizarro.
Yeah, and that wouldn't be a bad thing for someone that last episode was like, my God, if they do Doomsday, it's too early. It's way too early. I'm out, Travis. Travis, I'm out of this show if they do Doomsday. And now
You
we're 1 week away, and you're like, they didn't do Doomsday. They switched it up on me. I might be
no,
out.
no,
I
no,
might
no,
be
no,
out
no,
of
no, no,
this.
no, no. Here's the difference. You show me something that is clearly Doomsday, and you're like, "Oh, that's really Bizarro." That's stupid.
Well, that's just a
If
containment suit. It's on you to think that that's Doomsday.
n-
I know that he
no,
said,
no, 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 no,
"Oh,
no,
with
no.
no with
If
CW,
somebody
yes,
has a
yes,
yellow
yes."
flash suit and then say, "Hey, by the way, that's actually Lex Luthor," you're like, "What
No,
the
that's
hell?"
not. No, if we've seen
Yes.
him in no, a containment suit don't 100% equal Doomsday. Like a yellow suit, yellow flash suit equals Reverse Flash. No, not the
No,
same thing. This
it's
was
the
just a
exact
contain.
same
No, it's
thing.
not. His suit is his
Yes.
gigantic scales and monstery thing, not a containment suit. That does not strike
No,
me Doomsday,
the
especially general
containment
audience people.
the containment suit kept all of that hidden. You didn't see any of the scales and the spikes and all of that until it was ripped off.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of this containment suit, is to show, like, is to hide who it is.
Well, contain power to not
Yes.
not let
But
know.
you're but so you're saying it's 99% Doomsday, but because of the 1% being Bizarro, it can't be Doomsday.
It's not 99% Doomsday. Not even close. He takes off the thing. Ultimately, we'll never see that suit again now. That's kind
No.
of the way I'm assuming it.
No, we won't.
And
But it's the fact that they did everything in their power to be like, this is Doomsday, this is Doomsday. Oh,
see, no, okay,
gotcha.
okay.
Oh, we
I will concede.
gotcha.
No, I will concede this. The executive producer Todd Helwig going on and saying that was Doomsday was the dumbest thing ever. I will concede that. That is stupid. That because if that he didn't say that, you are happy today. You are like, damn, they didn't. You know, you are like they did. You were like they didn't do Doomsday. They didn't say Doomsday. But when I saw that containment suit, I thought Doomsday, and I thought, oh my god, it's gonna be too soon. But because of what he said, he geared us all up for to expect Doomsday. He
Well,
did. He said
again,
it's going to be Doomsday.
but even still, I still know the story of Doomsday. And so when I see these minds, when I see somebody in containment suit bursting out into the open, see the containment suit, see him beating the shit out of Superman, and then the helmet breaks open, I am saying, "Oh, that's Doomsday." And then when I see Bizarro, I'm like, "Well, that's dumb. Why is
If you were
Bizarro in Doomsday's
watching,
containment suit?"
if you were watching on HBO Max, maybe. But like you said way earlier in this, this is the CW, and what did you say has happened to you so many times in the past? So I don't know
They've
why you would expect if you saw the suit for it to be with CW.
no,
CW's model
because
should
like
be
you said,
don't
no,
expect anything.
because like you said, this show has not burned us. This
Yeah,
show
well,
has
that's
been
what
good.
for
And
the network as a whole.
so when I'm expecting a good show to do good things, I'm not expecting a good show to do stupid things.
I'm
And this is a
thinking
stupid thing.
I don't know if it is a stupid thing. I think you're judging it way before we find out what it actually is, what's going on. Like last week. It's not Doomsday. It's the one thing you asked for it not to
Now,
be.
the
Think about this
only
now.
thing,
If
the
we replayed
oh,
last week, the one thing you asked for it not to be was it Doomsday, and it's not Doomsday. So I
the
don't know how they win here.
they don't win because it's stupid.
Yeah, it would. And you would have said the exact same thing if that ripped that off and it was Doomsday. You would have said, this is stupid. So they couldn't win either way with you on this one.
No.
Okay, well,
Now,
we established that.
the I will say the only thing that can redeem them for using the face of Tyler and the storyline of looking like Superman, there was, I believe, a New 52 story that I never read. There was a time when Superman had the Doomsday virus and he turned into Doomsday.
Well, that because he's looking like I said he looked like he had a
So,
virus.
if this version of Superman turns into Doomsday and they write it in a way that's like, hey, this person is going to turn into this monster, and he shows up to be this monster, okay, I can then say, hey, it was stupidly introduced, but they got there, and I'm okay with it.
It was more like they were trying to give an Easter egg that they didn't really need to give in that
Yes.
suit. Okay. But like I said, you were asking for it not
But
to be
that is
Doomsday, so I don't know. They essentially what we established here is they backed themselves into a stupid corner with you by showing that suit and doing that in the last episode and the interview combined into that because that was I don't know who actually you know who probably approved that PR move for him, the person who approved the PR move for Joss Whedon's article probably
No,
I
but
don't
see,
understand
this
that.
I will say this is smart marketing if what I said is true. If
Yeah,
this is in fact a Superman from a different world or whatnot with the Doomsday virus, then he could say, "Oh, this is Doomsday," and we're all looking at him like, you're an idiot. That's not Doomsday." And then they tell the exact story of the Doomsday virus. Then you're like, "Oh, okay, now I get it."
I wouldn't be
But
shocked if
because
that's the
I'm
way they go.
already expecting that being a possibility, I'm still saying, hey, you really didn't need to go this far to try to sell us on something when you could have just let it play through.
Yeah, and if they do, even if they use some like cheap TV show science reason why he had the suit on, maybe if you tied into that pendant that he was wearing, if you tied into that, maybe that's energy, maybe that's strong enough energy that it got to be contained. I don't know. Like it's good
If
because that
again,
that seems like it's something to me, Clay. Because it's
the
kind of like it seems like it's a cloud inside, or could be any like moving
well, I
while
was
he's
gonna say
walking.
the worst thing about these types of shows, that like we will never have a Mephisto moment here on Superman and Lois, but it comes with like, oh, this is our expectation. Oh, this is our predictions and doing all of this stuff. And predictions can sometimes exceed expectations.
Yeah, well, what
Uh
Brent said when expectations become, I can't remember I can't remember that. Whatever Brent says, don't
exactly.
make predictions.
I
Don't
didn't
make
want to I
predictions.
didn't want to try to quote them because I couldn't remember it
I
myself.
couldn't remember it either. It
Um
sounded so
so
well, Brent. Like I
so
don't,
I so I, as a comic book fan, I know these storylines and I know that, like, oh, they could take from this and take from this. And so I do not know what that thing on his chest is. But because we are so into these comic book worlds, we can make the assumption, oh, that is what is probably powering him down. And the containment soup was just helping with that.
or keeping him from transforming into Doomsday.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like maybe he'd be going from Earth to Earth. I'm really interested
Now
in what it could be.
it was very interesting for General Lane to just straight up say, "Hey, could this be the Superman from your Earth?"
Yeah,
Like acknowledging the fact, "Hey, remember these guys are not from the same Earth, and that Superman could still be out there."
yeah.
Um,
Maybe he was looking for absolute power and something happened. And now this is what he's become.
so I do enjoy that. And then he said, "Oh, well, no, that Superman was vulnerable to red solar flares, which you were hitting the solar flares to the containment suit, not his body." So just putting that out there as well.
And
Um,
maybe that containment field is made that way so he can't take in any sun, so he wouldn't be able to get
yeah.
a yellow, but he wouldn't get red either.
So here's the question, though. This bizarro Superman, because that's what I will call him until I am proven otherwise, goes to
BS.
goes to yeah, BS. It goes to the now destroyed fortress.
Yeah.
What is he gonna do?
I hope we get a new freaking fortress claim because I've been asking for that since the last one got destroyed. It was one of my favorite
So
things about the show was the how cool
I
this
will go
fortress
ahead.
was.
I have no idea if Scott or Ray listened to this. I went ahead and listened to their episode reviewing the first two episodes or whatnot of this show
Yeah.
as well.
DC TV Squadcast rises from the
Yes,
ashes.
for those who also want to go listen to them. They had very good things to say about the show. They are expecting Doomsday. Of course, uh, if they're listening to this particular episode, it's because they've already seen this episode.
Yeah.
Ray knew about the article, Scott did not. So I would like to know how they feel about this as well. I'll probably message
I
them.
hope Scott didn't read the article
No,
afterwards.
no,
I
no,
mean,
no, no.
after the podcast. Right?
Scott said that he wanted to go in blind, so I
Oh, that's
know
good.
he has the restraint.
Yeah.
Um, I will probably message him probably at like later in the week, so I know for sure. Hey, have you seen this episode? And we'll talk about it. But they see the potential of how, if this is Doomsday and whatnot, how they could possibly lead into a funeral for a friend. And they brought up a really good point that I didn't really think about, because my whole point in bringing in Doomsday too early, this is season 2 of a universe that has been around because Superman is already 20 years into being Superman.
Yeah.
He has high school age children. He has been Superman for a lot longer than that. And technically, in the eyes of timeline in the comics of Superman, Superman is killed by Doomsday like in his mid 20s, late 20s, not even, you know? Um so I still believe that, like, I don't have enough information of this world to really care about that death, but it technically would make sense in this universe if that death took place now. So take that with a grain of salt. Let this play however it may play. I'm still gonna have knee-jerk reactions to things like I do now.
I'm here to
Um,
calm you down, Clay. I'm here to calm you down and keep you on the path.
ugh,
Now, if we get a lightsaber force fight, I'm sorry, I'm out too.
you
Like,
think we're gonna get the cellophane Superman taking off the
still won't be as bad as that force lightning. I
no
don't
I
even understand. That was never a thing for Seven. Like, never once they hold lightning and fight people. Like, okay,
there
Ryan
is
show, Ryan show.
I've always said this. There was a storyline where Barry had a item that was called the lightning rod, but this is
No,
legit lightning that they were fighting with. It was a little ridiculous. But this is Superman and Lois.
yeah.
So this ends with that Superman or Bizarro on at the fortress. Um, this also ends with John asking his girlfriend to sell him some XK.
Solid girlfriend there, John. Solid girlfriend. I don't
Ugh.
care what kind of economic position you're in. I mean,
This
uh,
also has Natalie and John.
getting
Natalie
a
is
little
still
closer.
worried. Yeah, a little bit closer, but John is explaining to her, we're here. Like, there is no real way to go back yet. Or if it's even safe to go back, type of thing.
I meant young Jonathan.
Oh, young John. I thought you meant John
I
and
th-
Natalie.
I can say Jonathan so I don't mix up him and John.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
But I thought that there was a little spark between him and Natalie. I don't know if there's a friendship spark or more, but like they were playing Madden and they were kind of like talking back and forth
I
a bit.
do think it's very nice that they do include her
Yes,
in
and
in
they
that.
well she tries I'll give her credit as well because she inserts herself because of the personality she has, and we do get a cool scene at the end where she's saying her dad, uh, he's like, I'm sorry, like I sorry I didn't tell you, but I'm gonna have to do this more, and she's like, you're not doing this anymore until we fix the suit and pimp it out. So I'm excited to see what new things they'll do with the suit and the barn, because they're talking about giving the barn a makeover too.
Yeah. And I guess I missed the fact that Clark gave Jordan this
Yeah,
whole like
it was terrible, Clay, because they kind of that was one thing I didn't like because he built it up like I got something to give him, like something to, and we didn't hear anything of it. We didn't even see him give it to him, and then
and then
he gives it to
he gives
Sarah.
it to Sarah. Dude, I would like, my face immediately like perked up and I was like, oh no, dude,
I was
why are you
I was
giving her
like, dub his
jewelry?
ass, Sarah, dub his ass, dub his ass.
This is so cringy and awkward. It's like, oh look, I'm gonna give you something.
I've
Now you
seen
can stay
some.
with me longer, right?
I've seen that, Clay. I've seen that so many times growing up. I've seen
It's
one of my
rough.
friends take $100 and buy a ring, a promise ring. Like, what are you promising? What are you promising? Like, you're 16, dude. Promise, take that money and spend it on something for yourself, or take the girl out for a nice date. Promise ring. Oh my god. Spoiler alert: that promise ring didn't last 6 months. Not the ring falling apart, the relationship.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that was cringy. I've been with you there,
It
but teenage kids are cringy. So I read that and I think, and honestly, I remember kids that are like that. So I will give them passes for that. I can remember.
I understand that that is what teenagers do, and I understand that there is technically a demographic of viewers that are a lot younger than me.
Yeah,
But like I want more Superman
yeah,
and
we do
Lois.
too.
I
Yeah.
I want more Superman and Lois, not John and Jordan, to be honest.
I like John. I like Jonathan's storyline. I think it's really great right now. I think it's probably the best it's been. Besides the fact I did enjoy in last season just trying to cope with not having powers and being around people
Yeah.
that did. But I am enjoying the fact that he's in a very compromising position because his girlfriend's selling it. She's in terrible like position. Her dad's crap dad, and like they're in the trailer park. Got no money. She's trying to help pay bills,
Yeah.
and he's competing for to be he don't want to ride the bench for a full season anymore. He's competing with this guy who's taking the X stuff and doing Wicket. So it's just I know
So
one thing.
so
When
question.
Clark sees him perform, he's gonna know something's up.
No, well, I was gonna ask, who do you think is gonna find out for first? Jordan
Clark's
or
gonna
Clark?
think something's wrong and not know what it is. Jordan's gonna find out,
Oh,
but
so
Jonathan's going to make him not say anything.
okay, so technically there's 5 people that could find out first because
Yeah.
this is a whole household that now lives together.
Yeah.
John, Natalie, Clark, Lois, and Jordan. These are
Natalie
the
and
people.
Jordan are my two votes for who would
I
be
think
because
it's
it could push Natalie and Jonathan's storyline
I
further
think
together.
it's I think it's going to be either Natalie or John.
Yeah,
And the reason why I say that, yes, John and Lois really bonded last year, but I think that was their moment to bond. But we saw there was a lot of influence on Jonathan from John.
yeah.
So I do think there's a possibility that he could see this and be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you don't have to do this, blah, blah, blah. Natalie, we see a little spark here in this episode that could be
And
some
she whoops
foreshadowing
him
into like,
in
hey,
two. She whoops him in Madden.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I think it'll be, I think it could be anybody other than Clark or Lois.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think they'll be the last to know, but I do. I like enjoy that stuff. Like I think that's better than some of the other stuff we've gotten in other CW shows. It's just like I said, that interview was so stupid, so
Yeah.
stupid. Like you didn't need to do that, and that would have been fine for me anyway. I wouldn't have cared. I wouldn't have expected anything. I would have been like, "Oh, that looks like the containment suit for." No, they're not going to do that. And then I'd watch this episode and be like, "Oh, they didn't do that. I guess they just want to do an Easter egg." They've done some stupid shit like that before, but I mean, we've seen Jay Garrick's helmet with wings for about 14 episodes before we got the actual Jay Garrick. So I don't know. It's just sometimes, and the guy who ran the first couple of seasons of Flash, I think is running this show. So who knows that? But
Yeah. But
I still enjoy it. Like I said, I'm nervous though because I
there
don't know
there
what the hell they're going with at the end there. I'm nervous
there's a lot of things there that could make this go downhill.
because it's easy to eat Clay. It's easy to have one good season. It's hard to have multiple good seasons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a side note here. I am currently packing everything up in my house in order to move to a different apartment. So because of that,
You had that. You took that thing down. You said you were going to have it packed before the next.
shit, yeah, I did.
You did.
Um, I I took most of this stuff down.
Look at you! Look at you getting ahead of the game.
Yeah.
You said I probably won't have that done. That's the last thing you said before we stop. So
So, we will not have an episode next week. Instead, we will do a 2 episode recap. It'll be a little bit of a longer episode, but really depending on the content of each episode, it could be still the same amount of time. Really depends on what's going on. Which reminds me, I still need to talk to Spectrum tomorrow about giving me actual internet at my new place so I can record stuff. So,
yeah,
with that, of course, you can always find me at FanboyClay on Twitter. Look at the link tree in there. You can find the links to all the shows that I host, that being DC Alliance, Batman News Weekly, Ranger Alliance, and of course, Star Wars Alliance. So, Travis, where can they find you?
you can find me on Twitter at Travis_156. You can drop me a line. We can chat about DC anytime. I also host superhero discussions. Did a new episode this week for Spectacular Spider-Man 106. and patrons will get episode 107 with Joe in their feeds as well. Also, patrons, I recorded some extra Patreon content, a top 5 for me. I'm going to try to do top 5 Fridays as often as possible. This one is top 5 NES games of all time for me, not a consensus. What I think that was a beauty thing about NES games, Clay. Every person around, even in the small island I was on, had different games. Besides the
Yeah.
Super Mario 3 and the Super Mario Duck Hunt, everyone had different games. So you got to trade them and got to try all kinds of cool things. So it was a really fun little ranking. I had some honorable mentions. I almost forgot Batman for NES, but I did remember it
Ooh,
as I was
yeah.
talking, and I was like, I got to throw that in honorable mentions. So check it out. We thank all the patrons, and like I said, thanks for everyone for listening.
Yep. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Well, technically, oh yeah, 2 weeks because next Monday
I'll
I
see you
won't
on
be here.
Monday. I'll see you on Monday, listeners.
All right. See you later.